Welcome back aboard our new custom aluminum sailboat. We're in full project mode, making Jibsea 2 truly our own. It's also decision time. We've got 2 dinghies, but only room for 1. And Travis is down in the engine room, replacing our mounts to keep everything running smoothly. Let's get to it.
Well, today's the day we start the fridge project. Got it all marked out, and hopefully it's right. Because cutting into nice pretty wood and ruining it sucks. But I think I'm pretty confident in doing it. So,
like they say, measure twice and cut once.
Oh, ow! That took some skin. That was quite hard because obviously it's all stuck.
All that foam.
Crazy, eh? Now I gotta gouge all this foam out.
Crazy?
It's crazy.
Everything's crazy. We're going to expand our vocabulary.
Well, that's it. God, like, can't fix that. I gotta get to the inner side of the fridge. So then, I'm having a hard time right now with how to balance the food in there. I take all this out. That's one less step. Then what do I?
Don't worry about the food. Just worry about getting that out properly, and then it'll be fine. If you get that out properly and you just focus on that, that's less time that you're focusing on the food, and then the food will go back in cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm also trying to think of everything that I see from here on out. Like, can I cut it all? Can I get it all that I need so I can at least get that in here today?
The new fridge.
Yeah. If not, we just have to hook it up to power. And yeah. Sorry.
My goodness.
I don't know.
This is a mess.
I was like, oh, no worries. It'll be easy. I'll just cut it out in one chunk.
Nope.
Well, technically I could have.
Oh, really?
If I cut the inside of the freezer first and I just went straight through all this would have come out in one chunk. But because I'm trying to save that,
You got a big mess.
actually, like, thinking about it, like, yeah, maybe I should have said screw it.
You don't know what you don't know. Well, I guess you did know, but
I just kind of wanted to do it like, whatever, I'm already this far. I'll just take this off, then I'll get a better idea.
we scored this fridge secondhand at a steal of a deal, so I gave it a real good deep clean. Meanwhile, we've kept the new fridge running with all of our food inside while Travis went to work cutting away the old one. Each time we did a test fit, we emptied all the food into a container. We did this over and over again until we were confident that the fridge would fit just right. It was a bit of a juggling act, but we're getting there.
And progress so far. I had to cut 2 access ports so we can get the condenser through. And then the condenser is going to sit in here, which is too dark. Can't see. The hard part of figuring this out was there's a drain hole. This old fridge never had a drain hole, and it would always pile up water on the bottom, and then it would be like a chunk of ice. So I've let a drain hole through here. It's got to go through here. It's going to go under here, tie it and go down in here into our gray water. I'll tie it into our gray water, but at least the fridge will be able to drain now, because I didn't like how the other one couldn't. And then we had to cut 2 big access ports right here, because we have to get the entire condenser unit through over to underneath the sink. It's not going to be pretty, but you'll never see this because the stove covers this completely. And then I just cut 2 little holes. So once the condenser's through, that's where the line feeds, the copper line. And then we'll just be able to snug that back up, just like that. And then just be a line coming through here and that one. And that's all you'll see if you look down the side of the stove.
As for the base where the fridge sits, we just took a piece of plywood and painted it to seal it. The paint dried super quick, so we've unloaded the fridge for the last millionth time, and we're gonna put it in.
Hopefully it's had its final resting space.
We're taking a closer look at the hard dinghy that came with our boat. It's big, heavy, and tough to maneuver, even in dead calm conditions. While it's been great for transporting larger equipment, we're not sure if it's the right fit for us. We hadn't yet tested it with an outboard, and we're curious to see how she moves.
That's some real strongman stuff right here. You need two hands in two different places to make it work, like comfortably and probably safely. Sucks. It's so sweet, but this thing is very cumbersome. But I also have our engine in there, so it's making it twice as heavy.
Okay, so when we were back in Panama and we showed you guys our big beast of a dinghy, we had mentioned that we didn't have our outboard with us, which is a 9.8 4-stroke Tohatsu engine. And we weren't really sure if that was going to be powerful enough to power this guy. So Travis is just taking it out right now. Sounds like he's ripping by himself. That's just one person with nothing else in it. So I'm going to jump in and see how it goes with two people. One person was all right, wasn't it? No, no. Don't you scratch us.
Jump in. Let's see. I'm impressed. It put us on plane, like,
Yeah.
not like a whole shot right up and out, but it got us there.
It was actually comparable to Patches. Like, I felt like it put us on plane better than Patches. It did. Plane, yes.
Maybe, yeah. But it's solid. It's like dunk, 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 dunk.
It feels like a boat.
Yeah, it just feels like a boat.
So are we keeping this dinghy? I don't even know. It's just too hard to...
It's so scary to bring on and off the boat.
And we were dead calm.
And we're dead calm, yeah. We're not always in dead calm conditions.
We're rarely ever in dead calm.
Yeah.
So we can only take the dinghy out when we're at a marina slip, when we can just walk off the boat. That doesn't make much sense, does it?
You could do the Davit system on the back, but we need something now that we can easily get on and off, and that's like probably patches, which I'm gonna now pluck on deck and see how much different, see how easier it is.
It's gonna be much easier. Look at little patches there.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I know, me too. I was surprised. I thought we were gonna have to go like 3
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
knots.
That's gonna be like
Oh, sorry, not 3 knots. Like a, what am I trying to say? Like a 3 horsepower outboard.
Oh yeah. She felt like a 10. So we'll hoist this thing on the deck and see how it feels. Like there's nothing on it. It's that much easier.
And not much air in it, apparently.
No, it doesn't have much air.
It never has that much air.
Oops, it's not high enough.
Well, it's easy.
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, it is dead calm still, nonetheless, but it's obviously going to be way easier than the other one.
The
that one-
other one, like, I just feel like I'm gonna damage something.
Yeah,
I didn't have this set up properly, but
get the idea.
it is so much easier for now. This is
It would be a shame, though, because the other one's such a tank.
I know, it is such a tank. The nice thing about this, though, I wouldn't even notice it on the deck.
After a lot of back and forth, we made the tough call to part ways with the hard dinghy. It's strong and reliable, but just too heavy for us to handle with our current setup. So after getting rid of it, we repatched Patches yet again, hoping that she'll hold air. It's not quite the durable option we know we'll need for where we're heading, but outfitting a boat for full-time, off-grid living is expensive, so we're making it work one decision at a time.
All right, today's fun boat project, engine mounts. If anybody owns a Yanmar, you know they are not very well balanced motors. They're notorious for it, but that's why their engine mounts are so expensive, because they put a lot of R&D in making their engine mounts be able to compensate for the vibration of the engine. their engine mounts, the Yanmar specific engine mounts, are very pricey. But there is a solution for us cheapos or people who are trying to find a better deal, and that is these. They're called Ellebogens, and they are a very smart engine mount. And I don't recommend to go out and try to find a much cheaper engine mount, because usually the cheaper they are, they're just not going to last. But these, I think, are a great alternative. They're not extremely expensive in comparison to the actual Yanmar mount. And we've actually tested these on our last boat, Jibsea 1, for 3.5 years, and they worked perfectly. They still look as good as they did the day we installed them. So definitely wanted to go with these again. They are called Ellebogen. I'm going to try to install them without any fancy bottleneck jacks or hoisting system or nothing. I'm just going to decouple the prop shaft from the transmission, and I'm going to just unbolt offset sides and see if I can just tilt the motor each way to see if I can get them out. Luckily, this seems like it should be, knock on wood, a little simpler than the tight space I had to work in with Jibsea 1. So it looks like I got a little bit more room to work here. So on the engine themselves, I'm going to loosen the top nut just to break them all free. Then I'm going to break free the mounting bolts. And then I'm going to detach the mount from the engine itself, not undo this bolt and try to lift the engine above this bolt, because you just won't. On the engine itself, it has bolts, so when you unthread that entire bolt, that engine mount that is connected to here, that connects to the actual engine, that bracket, fully just pulls off, so then you don't have to try to get the engine above that. But yeah, look at these things. So we're just gonna decouple the shaft from the engine. Okay, so we're gonna work on the aft port and the starboard front side, but I'm gonna loosen off all the top nuts on the engine mounts. This engine mount looks nasty. Someone painted it black. I'm gonna go ahead and take off these nuts, but also I gotta remove this cable to get to this bracket right here is what I was talking about. So while you loosen these first, you can either take them off completely or just loosen them. What you're really trying to do is get these bolts and then alleviate the pressure when you kind of rock the engine, is how I'm gonna try to do it this time. But the mounting bolts for the actual mount itself that goes to the frame of the hull, those are the ones that are going to come fully out, and this should just all come out as one assembly. See, now that that's nice and clear, I've got access to those two bolts. Another good little tip is to see how much tension you have on your bolts, is just to feel how easily they unthread. This isn't too hard, but it's not finger. So that means there's going to be a little bit of tension on that. So when I pull these off, it's going to drop a bit. So yeah, see, I can't undo them by fingers. That means it has a bit of tension on it. So you're going to want to figure out how to alleviate that tension. So then these can just be finger loose, and then you won't struggle at all once you pull these out. Just like that, I was able to unthread it by my fingers. I had a little leverage down at the bottom here with just a piece of wood. Now she's out. Now I'm going to take it to the table, line it all up, clean that up and reinstall it. Out with the old and with the new. And then as best you can, you're gonna have to fine tune it with a feeler gauge around your coupling. You want to just get it as close as you can, because you're eventually gonna have to, well, if you didn't do it as close as you can, you might have to adjust them all to make sure your shaft coupling lines up perfectly with the feeler gauge. But last time I did this and I didn't have to, so it was good. So just do the best you can with making sure it's level. Take a bit of a clean up the mounts. Then you got this special little lock washer. Put that one down, then put your washer, and put your... Now, let's go back, put her back in. Make sure to slap all your Lanacoat or Tef gel on any of the dissimilar metals. And remember, starboard side of the engine is the 200 rubber density and the port side is 150. There he is. Since I had some play in the bottom bolt, I lowered it just to make my life a smidge easier. So I can just hand thread these guys in. Just like that. See how those are hand tight now? Then I'll play with this bottom guy and get them all leveled up. So it's in. I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten everything up. Okay, so we got one in, and I really didn't have to do anything. I just, like I said, loosened all the top bolts just in case I gotta give the engine a wiggle, and then you just take it off at the bracket, pull the whole assembly out, and then reassemble. A little tip that I like to do is on the bracket, take out the hardest nut first, and then just reverse the stage. So when you put it back in, put the easy nut back in, or bolt, and then work your way around that. Just so you're not having to fight to get it in, because you want to be able to hand thread it first, make it nice and easy so you don't cross thread anything and then muck your engine up. If you do have a Yanmar, there is different rubber densities. So on ours, the port side of the engine has 200, and on the starboard it has 150s. That's because you have a lot more going on the port side of the engine. That's just how they've made the rubber densities. Yeah, looks sweet. So I don't have anything supported on the engine here. Nothing. And I was able to get this one out. Just like that. Gotta get the vacuum. There's engine mount, bracket, engines, just staying there. Now I just want to match. This one's a little bit lower than this one, but I'm gonna try to match these as best as I can. And the kit comes with 2 different size nuts, in case you gotta put the smaller one on to match. Obviously there's been some seawater dripping down on it over the years, and then whoever just slapped some black paint on that thing and it looks shitty. So I'm gonna buff all of the paint off, and then I have Yanmar metallic gray, and I'm gonna hit that up so it makes it look pretty again. But I wish I did this on one other one. It wasn't painted black, it just had a bit of surface rust on it, and that was the first one I did. So now I'm like, should have went with my gut and just did it in the first place, because I would have already had all this stuff out to redo it. It just kind of holds the process up when I'm just trying to get it done. All right, let's do it. Okay, so since I've got the paint drying on the last little bracket, I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling apart this guy, which is the starboard forward mount. So let's dive into that. There's the nice new one. There's the old crappy one. Okay, I won't be able to get this one. I started removing the last bolt that I had, and it's tight. So that means there's a lot of pressure on that one bolt. So if I take it off, this whole engine is going to go. And I don't want to struggle with that. So I'm just going to wait till the paint dries on the other one, and then if I install the back mount, it should take a lot of pressure off this mount. So we'll go wait. But I'm actually pretty impressed. This side on this engine, I have like full access here, and I'm like, man, like trying to get my hands in this tight space when I have full access is difficult. On Jibsea 1, I didn't have access to any of this, and the side of the engine was here. All I could do was kind of feel it, and I was still able to replace this one. I'm definitely patting myself on the back right now after looking at this and pulling this off going, wow, that was a good one. Got the piece back from the paint shop, and I think we're good to install now. Okay. Oh wait, isn't it? That might be it. There it is. Nice. Globbered this up with Lanacoat. I think Tef gel might be a bit better, but I don't have it. So Lanacoat's all I got. Welcome to my world. Okay. Mount. I'll get that tightened up here. So that's it. Job's done. Mounts are in. I didn't use any special pumps or bottle jacks or nothing to lift the motor up. Just did one at a time. And I got it done. I might have to do some fine tuning with the coupling where the shaft meets the transmission, but that's pretty simple. So I'll leave you here. And like Red Green said, if the women don't find you sexy, they should at least find you handy.
You're both. We've got plenty more upgrades in store for Jibsea 2, so hit that subscribe button and we'll see you next Sunday.